Hey, Saad here. Today I'm going to share with you a high ticket system that I personally use inside my 151K a month agency. You can use this exact system to get yourself clients and you can also sell it to others. I'm going to walk you through the entire system build step by step along with all the platforms that you're going to need. So let's print some money. So the system that I'm going to share with you guys today has made me a ton of money because it literally turns companies hiring for sales into actual cold hard cash. Now, if you don't know, companies that are hiring for sales roles such as SDRs, BDRs are literally trying to build pipeline. They are trying to get more customers. That's literally the entire job of an SDR and the reason why they are hiring for SDRs or any sales role. Okay? Because their job is basically just cold outreach, manually sending emails, booking meetings, etc., etc. But here's the kicker. What they're hiring for is exactly what our solution does, just 10 times better. Okay? So in my experience working with hundreds of startups, uh, the usual growth lever is just hiring more sales reps, just like I said. And these sales reps or SDRs, they send 30 to 50 emails that are generic manually, right? But our systems that we build for them can send 17 times more. And usually our messages are customized using AI, okay, and reaches out to thousands of their ideal customers. Another big thing is that hiring an SDR for them costs 5 to 8K a month, plus there's onboarding, tools, training, and all this stuff, all this annoying stuff. And our systems costs less, works instantly, and doesn't call in sick, obviously, because there's no human involvement. So when a company posts a sales job, we're not just saying, hey, congrats on hiring. We're saying, hey, why not get 10 times the output for less than an SDR salary? So this is basically the main idea of the system. Now let's just go ahead and explain it, okay? Now every 7 days, this workflow kicks in like clockwork. It auto finds fresh jobs like SDR gigs in like LA or like New York or anything, whatever. And for each job, it runs through this. So it finds the company LinkedIn page that is hiring, digs up sales leads, so finds the exact persona, okay, or like the person that is worth reaching out to. Typically, it's the sales manager, VP, etc. And then it picks the best fit person, okay, the best sales persona, the best person to reach out to within that company. Now, you might be thinking, Saad, why go after the sales persona? The sales manager, the head of sales, VP of sales. Well, think about it. They're the ones who feel the pain. They're the ones who feel the problem because CEOs approve budgets, but sales leaders live in the pain. They know if their team isn't hitting quota, and they're also the ones who say, yeah, let's test this out. Now, the system again is going to grab their work email, verifies it too, all automatically, and then it's going to use AI to write a custom message about the job slash the company. Now, the message is going to be hyper personalized, and this is basically one of the winning copies within my company, which is, hey, reader, saw your company is hiring for sales. Very relevant and timely for them because they're literally hiring for sales. Guessing you're juggling the usual challenge. Finding reps who can talk AACO workflows with design professionals. Now, this is an AI generated message based off the job description. So in their job description, they're saying, hey, we're looking for an SDR that can do X, Y, and Z. Talk about AACO workflows with design professionals because they are literally hiring for someone who can do the outreach for them, right? And then talk to these design professionals because this is their ideal client. This is basically just an example. Worth an intro of building stronger sales pipeline is a priority. And then after that, the system is going to split their name, first and last name, packages everything, name, email, company, message, clean and outreach ready. And then after that, uploads it straight into your outreach tool, which is going to be instantly because it's the best tool. And it keeps doing it for the next job weekly. So you set it and you essentially just forget it. Now, the tools needed is obviously going to be n8n, right? And then we're going to use Google Search API to find a couple of these leads. And then we're going to use any AI model. So you can pick anything. So GPT, Claude, whatever. And then we're going to need an email finder. So any platform. I'm going to walk you guys a couple. And then you need copy, obviously, because copy is life. Now, let me walk you guys through this system in n8n. So we have a trigger which is basically run every 7 days, and then we're scraping the jobs using an NPI endpoint in Rapid API, which is a platform that gives you a ton of endpoints such as like LinkedIn jobs, scraping LinkedIn, Apollo, anything really. So a bunch of endpoints. And then we're basically just splitting out, getting the LinkedIn URL. This is basically how to get the LinkedIn URL. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. You do not need to worry about code. You can just copy and paste, okay? And then we're just filtering, getting the persona again using Google Search API, merging the data, extracting the persona name, filtering the data, finding the persona's email. If it's valid, then we're generating the copy, which is this one. So we're saying generate a statement similar to finding reps who can. So rep skill challenge. So this is the challenge that this SDR is going to tackle based off the job description. So essentially we're taking it and we're using it in our copy. So we can help you exactly what this SDR is going to do automatically using AI with target audience. So we're just taking again the job description, and then we're trying to find the exact target audience that this SDR is going to talk to. And then perfect IDU output. So we're just giving in like an IDU output. And then after that, we're splitting the name using a formula here. We fix in the instantly JSON because when you want to send the leads, emails, personalization to instantly, sometimes the JSON breaks. So we're just using the code. Again, you can just copy and paste it. And then you see this loop over items. Since we send in the data using API or via API to instantly, we need to loop over items so we don't get rate limited with instantly. And then at the end, we basically just add into instantly, right? So this is the entire flow. I essentially had the idea to just put this in like a Google Doc, just so you guys have something in like a text formats, because I believe that it's not good when I put the Excalibur, because you guys need to like squint your eyes and zoom in. You have to like copy this entire thing, or like just make a screenshot, feed it to OpenAI, and then OpenAI is it just adds a lot of friction to you guys. So from now on, I'm just gonna put it in like a Google Doc. That way you guys can just copy and paste, and it's way better, right? So hopefully you guys don't mind that. But we're going to go ahead and build this from scratch. So I'm just going to go to overview, and then I'm just going to go ahead and create a new workflow. All right, so step one is we need a trigger. So we're going to click on this plus button, and I'm going to walk you guys through everything. So do not get overwhelmed. It's going to be very easy. It's going to take us 10 to 15 minutes to build this entire thing. So we're just going to add a trigger manually first, okay? And then we can add the run every 7 days later on when we finish building, okay? That way we can just test the system, and then we can just plug the run every 7 days later on. So I'm going to click on this plus button. I'm going to add an HTTP request node, and then I'm going to call an API, which is going to be the LinkedIn Jobs API in Rapid API, which is going to be Rapid API Jobs. So LinkedIn Jobs. The one that I want is going to be job search, which is the first one. And they have multiple endpoints. So job search, job details, company, job salary, etc. So what do we want now is we want to copy this entire thing, okay? And go back, import curl, just paste it here, and then boom, there we go. So they already give you like a query. So for example, you can type in developer jobs in Chicago, etc. But what we want is SDR jobs, and for example, California. Okay, now if I click on execute this step, I'm gonna get the jobs here. So essentially you can filter by date posted, all, country, US, number of pages, value, etc. So if you want to know like how to manipulate this, you can just go to the documentation, and then you go to overview, and you can see that you can, I believe it's in the job search. Yeah, and it's in the parameters. So there we go. If you scroll down, you can see the allowed values. So all, today, 3 days ago, a week, and month. Okay, so you can basically filter by either all, today, like 3 days ago, today, etc., which is awesome, right? So you can totally like manipulate this however you want. But we're just gonna go for all, Okay. And then as you can see, we have SDR jobs in California. And we found this company, Equivista, and the job title is literally outbound sales development representative. So this is exactly what a sales team agency does. This is exactly the solution that we provide. So check this out. Persistence. So this is the qualification. You're not afraid to pick up the phone, send plus 100 emails, and send and track down decision makers. This is exactly what we do, just using AI and automation. This is why I told you guys that this is gold mine. This is very relevant and timely. And the stupid thing is that they are still picking up the phone. Like, who does cold calling right now in 2025? We can automate your entire lead gen. So as you guys can see, like these big companies, like this is a big company, and they're probably making in millions of dollars, but they're still relying on cold calling, which is absolutely stupid, which is the reason why when you show them these systems, they're like, wow, what is this? Like sorcery. But yeah, so let's just name this scrape jobs. Okay, so scrape jobs. And then what do we do after this? Well, let's get, let's say, for example, let's get 50 jobs. We can go to number of pages and put 10 here. So execute. So there we go. Now we have a bunch of jobs. Now let's just pin this so we don't run the entire thing again. Now we're going to click on this plus button and then we're going to split out. So split out because if you guys noticed here, we have an array, which is this one, an array. Now we want to split it out so we can get one by one. So I can just basically just put or drag the data here in fields to split out, and I can execute the step. And now here's what's going to happen. We essentially got 100 jobs. Okay, so it was since we scraped 10 pages, so it was 100 jobs. Okay, so this is split out, and then we're going to again pin this. And then the next step is we're going to try to find their LinkedIn URL. Okay, so I'm going to go to an HTTP request again, HTTP. And then we're going to use now the Google Search API. And I'm going to show you guys something really cool. So I'm going to go back to my documents and I'm going to go to this platform right here, which is the reason, like this is the reason why I wanted to put this in a Google Doc. That way I can just click on this and you guys can click on this too. So this is the one, Google Search. So the idea behind this is we can essentially just use this API to Google anything on planet Earth, right? We can use Google API however we want. And then we can feed in, for example, with a company or like the company plus LinkedIn, and we can find their LinkedIn page. So again, I'm going to go to Open Playground. And then I'm simply going to copy this curl, go back, go to import curl, paste this here, import, and that's it. Okay, so let's just name this get company LinkedIn. Okay, so we're gonna have to feed in the query the website, so employer website LinkedIn. Okay, and then we're gonna go to properties, and then we're gonna batch one every every 5,000. Yeah, so we don't get rate limited. And then let's just execute the step. All right, done. So we ran 98 items. Okay, so we get as you can see, the LinkedIn URL because we're literally Googling the poster, which is this company, plus LinkedIn. Okay, now what do? Well, I'm gonna show you guys a code that we can use to essentially just retrieve the LinkedIn URLs without having to deal with AI, all this crap. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a code and then I'm just gonna copy it. I have it in my notepad and you can essentially just copy and paste. Don't change anything, okay? So I'm simply gonna put it here. And then before I proceed, I'm gonna have to pin this so I don't have to rerun the entire thing again, execute the workflow, and then I'm gonna get it here. So check this out. So there we go. I get the LinkedIn URL, but here's an error that we made. So we need to run once for each item. Okay. So let's just execute again, and then we're gonna get 98 here, I believe. Oh yeah, there we go. Sweet. So now we're gonna name this get LinkedIn URLs. Okay. And then now we're gonna click on this plus button, and then we're gonna add a filter. So filter LinkedIn company URL is not, so string is not equal to null. Reason why is because when we use the Google Search API, we have we have companies that we couldn't find their LinkedIn URL. So we're just gonna have to remove them, discard them. So it's not equal to null. And then we're gonna add another strict condition too. LinkedIn, so a LinkedIn company URL is not empty. Okay? Is not empty. Now, if I execute, I'm gonna discard all the. Okay, so discarded 19, we kept 79. Okay, sweet. Now, again, we're gonna click on this plus button, go for an HTTP request node, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so we're gonna copy this, go back, go to import curl, paste this here, and import. Okay, now we need to Google the right decision maker. Okay, so we can find them, because the best way to find a decision maker is simply just Googling them. So we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to our notepad, and then paste this here, and then we're gonna feed in the LinkedIn company. There we go. Awesome. So site linkedin.com, and then we're Googling sales manager or head of sales or VP of sales. That's it. Okay. And then we can essentially just, let's see. Do we need to batch? Yeah, let's just, for our sanity, let's just batch 1 per 1,000. Okay. And then let's just execute. There we go. And then as this executing, we're just going to name this get persona. All right, done. So finished. We found 79 items. So if you go to get persona, we found a couple people here. So sales manager at this company. There we go. Awesome. So now again, we're just going to add a code. Reason why is because we want to merge everything. We want to merge the website, the company website, the persona, everything all together. So I'm just going to go back to this code right here that I have, and you guys can just copy and paste it. Okay. Don't change anything. And then if I execute, you're going to see this. Oh shit, I forgot to pin this. Let me do this quickly. Boom. Okay. So 69 items. It's an odd number. So there we go. We get the person, Thomas Novotny, sales manager. Okay, sweet. So let's just name this code merge data. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this plus button, and then I'm going to add an LLM model. Okay. And then I'm going to define below, and I'm going to use this prompt that I'm going to leave you guys, which is retrieve this person's full name from title. There we go. Based from their LinkedIn URL as is typically reflected in the URL. So the URL, we're going to feed in the URL that we have. See, this is the reason why we scraped the company LinkedIn. And the person's profile information. The goal is to extract, etc. And then let's feed in again for our sanity, the title again, and then the URL. So as you can see, we're going to get Thomas Novotny. Okay. And then let's just add Azure. You can use any AI model that you want, just like I said in the beginning, GPT-4o. And then let's just execute now. So this AI model is pretty quick. You will see that it's going to take us 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even less, 10 seconds. Wow, that's so quick. Azure is just amazing. So let's see now. So I have the Thomas, Novotny, Steven, all the persona that I want. Now I see null here, so I'm going to have to filter by removing null. But first, let me name this extract persona name. And then I'm going to add a filter again, same thing. Very simple. And then I'm going to add text, again, same thing, is not equal to null. There we go. And then let's see. Yeah, I have to pin this so I don't rerun it again. And then I'm going to execute. So let's see. How many do we have? Okay, so only 2 discarded. Awesome, 67. That's amazing. Okay, so now the next step is click on this plus button. Actually, before this, let me just name this filter data. That way we understand because it's so easy to get overwhelmed with all these notes. So click on this plus button, and then now we need to find the emails because think about it. We got the jobs, we got the LinkedIn, we got the exact persona, and since we have the website, right? Because if we split out, yeah, we have the website. Okay, sweet. So since we have the website, we have now the persona. We can find the email using an email enrichment platform. Now, if you guys don't know, the way these email enrichment platforms find the emails is they use something called permutations or combinations. Is that they try, for example, Saad at or like Saad, my last name at company.com, or like s.b at company.com. And they try a bunch of variations. And then what they do is they send it to an email verification tool. Okay. And then they see if there's a response from that email. If there's no response, obviously that email does not exist. Okay. Now, I can use my email enrichment platform for this. If you guys don't know, this is the platform that I built specifically for the community, which is this one. I'm just going to log in. And there we go. So this is the platform that I've built. So this is basically how many credits each member has. We have the ability to actually up this all the way to 100K, which is awesome. And then if you want to verify an email, you can simply just put the email here, for example, start verification, and boom, valid. Obviously, I can do another one. Very simple, very easy, quick. There we go, valid. I can basically verify multiple lines. I can bulk upload, again, Google Sheets and find the emails. I can find the email using this endpoint. We can essentially just put, for example, Nick Sarayev. This is my good friend, Nick. And let's see, we're going to find Nick's email. There we go. We found Nick's email. 2 emails. Shout out to Nick, my friend. It's one of my best friends. So there we go. We found Nick's email. Okay. Now, in comparison, there's multiple platforms like an email finder. You guys notice the price in here is it's so expensive. So for 10K, it's $200, right? $200 for 10K. Now, this is the reason why I built this, just so people can just focus on doing the work rather than trying to nerd out about APIs and spending so much money. Because I spend so much money on these platforms because I did not have my own platform now, but it's changing for the better, right? So since you guys need to follow along and you need an email enrichment platform, what I would recommend, an alternative, is basically an email finder. I think it's one of the best. Okay, we use similar technology as them. So I'm just gonna go to API. So once you sign up, you're gonna get your API key here, and then let's just go to full API documentation, and then we want to find the person's email. So we're just gonna copy this entire thing so we don't have to write everything or paste everything step by step. So I'm gonna import curl, imports again, very easy. And then you see authorization, boom, you're just gonna have to copy your API key. By the way, you do not need to, or you should not expose your API key just like I'm doing, because people can charge you and basically take your money. So the domain is going to be from merge data, and it's company domain here. And then the full name is going to be from extract name, I believe. Oh no, filter data. And then just plug this puppy here. And by the way, I think we forgot something. Yeah, we need to add another condition. And company website exists. Yeah, just for our sanity. Exists. Okay. Awesome. And then now I think everything is good. Okay. So let's just execute and see. All right, done. So there we go. We found the emails. Awesome. So let's see. How many do we have? Okay, so email status valid. Okay, sweet. All right, so now we're going to have to add another filter. So filter by only if email actually exists, obviously. Want to deal with only leads that we found their email. Keep in mind there's like a 50-50% chance. And then add condition, email status again equals to valid. All right, and then let's just pin this so we don't waste our credits in an email finder. And then let's just execute. And then let's see how many we actually found. Okay, so we found 16. Okay, sweet. Awesome. So let's just name this find persona email. Okay, find persona email. Wait, actually, I think it's better to use an F. Way better, yeah, F. So F, it's better. Yeah, I think it's better. Let's just use F for our sanity. Yeah. And email status equals to valid. Yeah, I think it's better. So if valid or just valid? Question mark. Okay, so that's way better. So we can get the true, yeah. And then the next step, we're gonna add an LLM model again, basic LLM chain. And then we're gonna use this prompt here that I have. So the same one that I showed you guys generate a statement similar to. And then we're gonna go to merge data. And then we're gonna feed in the job description. There we go. Let's just name this pain signal. And then we're gonna add our AI model, GPT-4o. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, let's just execute. And then it's gonna take us 10 seconds again to do everything using this AI model. Because it's very, very quick. Yeah, there we go. So the same thing that I showed you guys. So look at this at a table. Awesome. So finding reps who can close deal with fintech founders. Finding reps who can drive tech sales conversations with C-level executives. Finding reps who can engage school admins with impactful solutions. Finding reps who can talk identity security with enterprise IT leaders. Finding reps who can coach SDRs on effective discovery with construction teams. Finding reps who can sell design tech to architecture firms. Wow. Like, I really did a good job with this prompt. And as you can see, like, it's very human. We're not using the AI, like, we're not going for this AI jargony bullshit. So finding reps who can spark conversations with SMB decision makers, how a human talks. You know? Do you think an SDR gonna do this at scale? Give me a break. Okay. So we're gonna add an edit field. Okay. And then it's gonna be JSON. And then my field 1 is gonna be first name, and my field 2 is going to be last name. There we go. So we have the first name and last name. So essentially what we're doing is we're basically splitting. So we're essentially just getting the first name, and then we're just using a split. So split 0. And then again, split. Let me scroll down. It's going to be 1. Okay, so we can just copy and paste this in the blueprint. Okay. Now we're almost done. Let's name this split name. And then again, we're going to add a code. Reason why is because the next step is going to be sending everything to Instantly. Now, the problem with Instantly is that when you want to send like a bunch of data, like personalization, first name, last name, email, to Instantly, which is the cold email software, sometimes the JSON just breaks and it's just super annoying. So you can just copy this code right here that I'm going to leave you. And then the only thing you have to do is go to Instantly, okay? Pay attention to this. Go to your account. And then let me just go here. And then let's create a new campaign. For example SDRs. And then you're going to get an ID here, which is going to be campaign /. So copy this. And that's the only thing you have to change. Campaign. There we go. Remove this /. And there we go. Now, let's see if I need to pin this. No. Okay. So I can just execute now and check this out. I'm going to get it as a JSON. And I can just send the JSON clean to Instantly. I don't have to worry about like all these new lines, all this crap. There we go. Awesome. So let's just name this fix JSON. Okay. Well, now let's just save this. And now we're going to plug everything to Instantly. But before we do it, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. Yeah. HTTP requests. And then we're going to go to create lead. So this is the endpoint that they have. Obviously, we're not going to use this entire thing. Actually, no. What am I doing? We already have the JSON. Okay, so I believe the endpoints. Okay, we need the endpoints. Okay, let me go back. Yeah, we need the endpoints, but we're not gonna send the body. All right, all right. So create lead, which is what is the endpoints? Create lead. Yeah, this is the one, and then post request to this. So let's just copy this, go back, import curl, paste this here, and there we go. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And the JSON is gonna be using JSON. And then your API key, I believe it's gonna be v2. Yes. So let's just go to instantly. And then we need our API key, which is gonna be integration. I believe it's v2. Okay, so let's just test this. Test 10, scope, all. And then let's create, and then let's just copy this and put this right here. Okay, and then the JSON is gonna be simply JSON. So JSON. Let's just execute and see if we're gonna get an error. And there we go. So we just added everything here. So there we go, 15. Now if I go to instantly, we just added the leads here. Now if I go to sequence, I can say, hey, first name, hey Thomas, and then we can go here, saw. So saw, your company is going to be company name. Saw Ekvista is hiring for sales. And then let's just copy this entire thing. Guessing you're juggling the usual challenge, personalization. Guessing you're juggling the usual challenge, finding reps who can close deals with fintech founders. Word an intro if building a stronger sales pipeline is a priority. Okay, sweet. Awesome. So that's like a really, really high ticket system. Okay, sweet. But now we need to loop over items. Okay. Reason why is because if we have like a giant list, instantly is going to get us rate limited. So we're just going to add a loop over items, batch size 300, remove this replace me. And then the done is going to be here. And actually continue using output. Yeah. Okay. Well, now we're going to get the error here. Okay. And then if it's an error, let's delete this one. There we go. And then sweet. All right. This is gonna be add to instantly. All right, sweet. So we just finished building out the system. Now let's just unpin this entire thing. There we go. Same thing here. And then same thing here. And then let's just save this again. Zoom out. And then let's unpin. Same thing here. Unpin. And then unpin. Save. And then now we can just delete this. And then add another trigger, which is on schedule. So run every 7 days at 6 a.m. Run every 7 days. All right. And then now I can just plug this here and boom, done. It's going to be high ticket job search. There we go. Awesome. So we just finished building out this entire thing. So before we finish this video, I want to show you guys something. So this is a note that I left here. you can run this system to get yourself clients, okay? These companies hiring for sales, never have to worry about leads. Or you can flip it and sell it to recruitment agencies who are trying to place roles all day. Because think about it, like the system does the exact same thing. It scrapes jobs. So a recruitment agency is looking for companies that are hiring for certain roles that they have. Well, the same thing, right? So you can rise and repeat and then just sell the same thing. You get yourself clients and then you also sell it to other recruitment agencies. That's their entire business model. So why does it work for recruiters too? Is because instead of cold calling, just like I said, these companies that are hiring even for sales, they are cold calling. Recruitment agencies, they cold call all day, like, 100 companies a day. So instead of doing that, they can use this to find live job posts, pulling the exact hiring manager and slide it into their inbox with a warm, relevant pitch, just like we did here. Whether you are building this for yourself or selling it to others, it's the same system. Okay, so just pointed as a slightly different pane. So there we go. Now we have the entire system end to end. So the only thing that you have to do right now is simply just get out there, take action, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.